What's going on, everybody?
Hello, hello, hello.
We are live. We are live. So I'm excited about this session today. We've been talking about this for weeks. So make sure that you like, share, and comment. Be interactive with us today. We want to make sure. I see we've got a few people that's live with us. So we're going through, if you see us looking down, we're going through and we're actually going to go ahead and share it on our pages as well. So that way we can make sure we get as much interaction as possible. You got anything you want to say, Dr. LaShonda?
No, I am so excited. I cannot wait to really just dig into some of this. We have some amazing tips, advice to give you just from our own journeys. And I am just praying that this is going to be a blessing for somebody.
Yes, yes. Me too. I am as well. This has definitely been something that we've been talking about. Or actually, you brought it up and then I chimed in. And so, yeah, so let's just start with, again, first thanking everybody for joining us. If you're watching the replay, make sure to hit hashtag replay so that way we know that you took the opportunity to come back and see us. Maybe you couldn't join us on your lunch break. I know that some of you all are on your lunch break. I know Dr. LaShonda's probably taking a break from her clients right now to make sure that she's here with us. But listen, this was her idea. And I just chimed in as a married woman who's also a believer and, been talking about relationships probably since my husband and I started dating. People would ask us different questions. So I'm just excited to dive into this conversation today. So without any further ado, let's take some time to introduce ourselves and to kind of talk about how this came about and what really qualifies us to even talk about this. So you start.
Yes, we are going to let the people know that we are not just talking, right? There is education, there is real life experience that both of us bring to the table in this conversation. And so even Nakia being me asking her to partner with me on this, even that piece was God ordained. And so I made a post and I was like, you know what, a lot of times when women are single and they're trying to figure out I desire to be married, what's going on, literally I can usually talk to those women and in a short amount of time I can start to see some of those yellow and sometimes red flags, oh sis, I see what's going on.
Yeah.
But often we just aren't ready to have those real conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what, y'all? We having those real conversations with today's show and the weeks to come for this marriage part boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pulled Nakia in. She commented on that post, and I was like, you know what? I feel led to pull you in on this. And of course, she has some background and experience that she is going to share with you as well. Just letting you know that, like I said, we're using both the Word of God and research to back what we're saying. We're not just talking here. And so my name is LaShonda Lane Gamble. I have a PhD in counseling and psychological studies, and that PhD, it does focus on marriage and family. And so, y'all, this is something that I've been studying, researching, that I included in the research that I even did for my dissertation. So this is not new to me. This is an area that I am definitely confident that I can provide some insight for you. You
Mhm.
don't have to feel like this journey that you're taking in preparing for marriage, you don't have to feel like you have to take it alone. And
Yeah.
that is why we're here. So,
Mhm.
again, my name is LaShonda. I own a group practice. So I am a licensed therapist, a licensed professional therapist. I have a group practice called Dreams and Visions, and we provide all types of mental health care through that group practice. And then I also have a ministry called Heal. And Heal stands for Holistically Evolve, Align, and Live. And that ministry, I host retreats and workshops, and I'm helping people heal their mind, body, and their spirit.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mm.
excited to be here with y'all today. I'm gonna pass the mic to Nakia and let her introduce herself because, like I said, we are here giving you information that we've learned along the way. Both of us are married.
Yes. Yeah.
we have things that real life experience, y'all.
Yes.
We are telling you stuff that we haven't been through.
Uh-huh.
I'm passing the mic to Nakia. Nakia, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. Hey, y'all. I was already talking at first, so
Yeah.
let me just tell you that what you're gonna get here is I'm just gonna be myself. I know this is a kind of formal platform, but I'm just gonna be me. So I might say some things that are kind of funny. I might say something that might be off the wall. But I'm just gonna be me. So I hope you love me, or if you don't, take it up with God.
And
Um,
that's okay.
and that's okay. That's okay. But my name is Nakia Bennett, and I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. And I am working towards getting into counseling, just like Dr. LaShonda here. I think for me, being in ministry for over 15 years, probably more like 20 years, growing in dealing with youth and young adults. And then primarily my ministry has dealt with women. And I'm feeling really led to go back and go reach our young girls, but that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I've been, my ministry has been with women, leading women's ministry in my local churches, as well as I have hosted women's conferences that have dealt really with spiritual healing and wholeness in Jesus Christ through practical but yet spiritual teachings and principles. And so more recently, I have founded the CMF Network, which is meant to be a network of women to come together for spiritual empowerment and community to help us live our best free selves. And so that can mean anything. It doesn't necessarily hone in on one particular subject, but relationships being one of them. Because, women and men too, like it's okay to desire to be married. Like if you want to be married, that is a healthy desire. But it becomes unhealthy when it becomes an idol.
Yes.
But we gonna dig into that a little bit.
Talk about
Um,
that.
but yes, but that's me. I'm also a pastor's wife. I co-lead with my husband at the Perfecting Saints Church VA in the beautiful city of Suffolk, Virginia, at 159 Wren Road, where we thrive. And so, yeah, that's what I do. A lot of my background is in ministry. I am uh, working through my scholarly duties. We'll see if I get to doctor, you know. But yeah, we're along the same lines. It's something that I've always been into. Gone to therapy myself, offered, ministry or spiritual counseling, especially the young women, man. They always ask me all these kind of questions about relationships. So this was definitely needed. So I'm excited to dive in today, but that's me.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much, Nakia, for even agreeing to do this with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the more women that we can bring together, the better.
Hmm.
And like I said, we're both putting our lived experience
Hmm.
and our educational experience together to
Hmm.
help as many women as possible
Yes.
with
Yes.
this. So, y'all, we are here for you. Y'all asked when I made that post.
Listen,
y'all were
don't
like,
ask.
asked, hey, are y'all would y'all be interested
Hmm.
in really talking about this? Because I think a big piece of it is and this was even me before I got married, we don't really understand marriage. We don't
Right.
really understand the practical steps that we can take to make sure that our marriages are healthy. We don't know what to do when there's conflict. And that's
Mhm.
something I can guarantee y'all, it's going to be conflict.
Yep.
There's no way around it. There will be issues in your marriage. That's
Mhm.
normal. That should be expected. But we
Yep.
want to help you figure out how to handle those
Mhm.
conflicts, because
Mhm.
that is going to like make or break you, right?
Right.
How
Right.
do you handle, how do y'all communicate through the issues?
Mhm.
How do you respond as a wife?
Yep.
Those are the pieces that we need to really dig into to help you better
Mhm.
prepare for it. And so I think we'll start off just talking about like what is marriage, right?
Mhm.
Um and yeah, let's just start there. So marriage is a covenant between a man and a woman,
Mhm.
right? That they're taking before God.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
serious. So let's just talk about that from the it's serious. This is
Yep.
not something that you should enter into lightly.
Right.
I would highly advise anybody that is a couple that's preparing for marriage to do premarital counseling.
Mhm. Mhm.
Talk about the things, because the thing is sometimes I help couples that are at the brink of divorce, unfortunately. I have clients come in, their couples coming in, and they're like, you know what, this is not working.
Mhm.
And so as we start talking, a lot of times they didn't have the hard conversations
Mhm.
ahead of time about the things that really matter.
Yeah.
And so in premarital counseling, you can talk about a lot of those things. The therapist or whatever licensed professional you go to, or even you can do premarital counseling at church as well. So
Mhm.
whatever helping professional you go to, they are going to have someone like the inside scoop. Hey, we know the issues that typically come up in marriage, and we're going to help you talk through it now to make sure that this is going to be an equally yoked marriage, to make
Right.
sure that you guys are going to be able to communicate through whatever happens in this marriage journey.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. And you know what? Just to even bring like some practicality to it, a lot of times you hear like on TV, and things of that nature where people say marriage is nothing but a piece of paper. I don't need to be married to you and that kind of thing. And really, you have to really think about it. Yes, it is a contract, right? And yes, it is a covenant, spiritually. But you got to think about it. Let's say you love this person, you've been with them, you've been riding with them, everything. And when it comes down to the big decisions, God forbid something happened to you or them, they don't get a say. God forbid, you've been living with them for 10 years. Y'all have shared homes and assets, but unless both of y'all's names is explicitly on it, nothing belongs to you.
Nothing.
So why would you waste your time in your life being with someone where the benefits are very surface, right? Like
Hmm.
you're giving your life away to be with a person and you don't have anything to show for it. God forbid something happens to them.
Nothing. And then let's bring in the spiritual piece.
Mm.
Fornication. Let's not. Let's
They're
not.
very
Let's avoid the sin, right?
the very
Um,
appearance.
Right, because you shouldn't be having sex if you're not married. And
Yeah.
if you're living together, it's pretty likely,
The
the
people try to act like, sir, ma'am, if I'm living with you and we ain't not married, the likelihood
we
of
know
us
what's going
engaging,
on.
come on, come on. Like,
You can try, but look, fornication is the one sin that the Bible tells us to flee. It says run.
uh-huh,
Right. Don't set yourself up. Don't set yourself up, sis. Do not set yourself up. That is just,
don't
yeah.
it's not gonna be good for you. And I think that you cause yourself more pain when you operate like you're in a covenant relationship when you're not in one.
Ooh.
Ask me how I know.
And look, and I know too.
Now, I never lived with anyone before being married. I never lived with another man. My husband is my first and only man outside of my dad and my brother that I lived with. But all the other things, like literally, like just doing too much, making your life plans with someone who,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. You're giving yourself, you're giving your body, you're giving your time, you're giving your money, you're giving you're giving some of your most
Mhm.
vulnerable pieces to a person that there is not going to be any benefit to you.
No
And
commitment. No real commitment.
no commitment. And these are some of the reasons why it takes some of us a little longer to get married, because we are so busy. We're not intentional about us.
Yeah.
We're not intentional about us. We're not intentional about our expect. First of all, do we even have expectations, and are they realistic? Like,
And understanding them, because sometimes the glitz and the glamour is on the wedding. Ah, that's
listen,
not what you need to focus on at
oh
all.
my God, not at all. Like nothing. Like the wedding is literally a few hours. And when you think about it, it's maybe a few months, maybe a year, that you plan for this day. And, I loved my wedding. I thought it was a beautiful day. I loved my dress. My pictures were beautiful. Everything was wonderful. And then the next morning, and I think I told you this when we talked, the next morning I literally got up and was like, what did I do yesterday? Now, this man has already asked you to marry him. I have gone through the whole engagement process with him. We have been planning, talking, all the things. We get on stage, we do the I do's. I mean, the Spirit of the Lord moved in our ceremony. If you don't believe me, it's on Facebook. Go look it up on my YouTube. Listen, the Spirit of God had his way. It was a beautiful day. And then the next day, I woke up and was like, what what did I do? You know, I don't I don't know. And then I spent the first year of our marriage saying, what did I do? I, I
Yeah. See, and
don't
I think that's the piece that most people aren't always transparent enough to talk about. And so,
Mhm.
and look, y'all, I just realized I don't even have my wedding ring going. How am I talking?
Ooh,
I'm talking about
ooh,
it. But
ooh.
yeah, my husband and I, we both will forget our rings.
Oh,
Yeah, so, no, I am married. I've been married. It'll be 5 years in December.
mhm.
Shout out to my husband Daniel. He's amazing. But I similar to you, Nakia. That first year, I said,
Mhm.
"What? I'm googling
Mhm.
annulment. How
Uh-huh.
did I mess up, Lord? Did I hear you right? I'm not sure.
Mhm.
What can I get out of this? Did we and my husband and both of us like did we make a mistake? But nobody's gonna share that part. I will because I'm trying to help y'all and help you be prepared. Me and Nakia are like, we're gonna be real here. And so
Listen.
that's what we want y'all to understand about us. This is not an agenda of like, let me make this look cute.
Mhm.
Let
Mhm.
me paint this picture perfect scenario of what my marriage looks like. No, y'all, we telling y'all the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're going to experience that in real life with marriage. And
Absolutely.
so hopefully our stories, our experiences that we share can help you.
Yes.
And don't try not to forget your ring.
Try not to forget, because they spent a good piece of chunk of change on it, and they're gonna want you to put it on.
Yeah,
Regardless of what some of them say, they're gonna want you to put that on.
yeah, they want you
Right.
to hear that. Mhm. And that goes for the men too. If there's any men happen to be watching, we want you to
Right.
wear your rings.
Wear it, please. Thank you. Don't leave without it. Amen. Even if
Yeah,
it's the rubber one, like put one on. The silicone one.
something.
Yeah, put
Oh
it on.
my goodness.
But listen, the thing about it is like um when you talk about marriage, listen, we have to understand that there is no timeline that you have to
Important.
expect or go by.
Mhm.
And um Yeah, our brother, Mr. Sawyer said, "Thank y'all," because people need to know the real. They
Yeah.
do.
It's not always pretty.
It's not always pretty, and there is no timeline, right, in which you need to get married by. So getting married after 40 is still beautiful. Let's just be clear
Yeah.
about that. Okay, it's still beautiful. You're still, getting married at 50, whatever. Like getting married after 30, like don't let anybody make you believe that
Yeah.
you have to get married at a certain time or have children and do all these. Like we are so caught up in timelines, and God has told us time and time again that his time is not ours. So we gotta get rid of the idea that we have to like be married at a certain time or do, and I don't
Mhm.
think it's interesting because I don't know about you, Dr. Lashonda, but I know for me, there was a period in time where it seemed like everybody around me had someone. And I was just like,
Feeling
bro,
left out. Right.
ticking. I'm a good person, I love God. I pay my taxes. I take care of myself. There's some things I could work on, yes, but I'm going to therapy. I'm doing the work. Like I think that I'm a good woman. What's going on with me? And
Mhm.
it got to the point where I really had to give my love life to the Lord. And that's a whole nother situation
Yeah.
because we think that in the practicality of it all, that I don't need to bother God with my love life. Like he made me smart. Like I can make good decisions, right? Uh-uh.
Yeah, you do. That is something that that's a very good point. You have to give it back to God.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, like you said earlier, you start to idolize the concept of marriage. When you start putting that before God, that's a problem. So when you are desiring so much, like, oh, I am fantasizing about it. I am like, oh, I can't wait until I get married. Then you start trying to force yourself into stuff.
Okay, press pause right there. Press pause. You got to press pause right there because we didn't even talk about this beforehand, but baby, I was there.
Me too.
I was there, especially when you over 30. I was
Hmm.
there. I mean, when you talk about fantasizing and dreaming and all kind of stuff, and there was somebody I was dealing with, and the Lord showed me in a dream specifically. He told me straight up what was finna happen. And I was like, no, God, that can't be right. That can't be right. He
Right.
literally showed me exactly what was going to happen.
Mm.
And I was just like, nah, he wouldn't do me like that.
Yeah, and so this is something I'm gonna touch on it a little bit because this is what I don't get, sis. Some of us are prophetic, right? We have this one-on-one relationship with the Lord aligned, and you mean to tell me God ain't warned you? No, we are ignoring the warnings. That is us because we're trying to force ourselves into something. But and so, Nakia, similar to you, I had my whole life planned out. I was supposed to be married by 21, have my
Baby.
house with the picket fence, honey. I had it all planned out. So when
Mm-hmm.
I got to about 20, 23, 24, I was like, wait, why am I still single? Thought I was supposed to graduate college and get married. That's the next step. I had an order. You
Mm-hmm.
couldn't tell me that order was not going to happen. And so when I got to my late 20s, it was like, hold on. I should have been married by now. And it makes you start to question yourself. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when you start to question yourself, that's is not a bad thing, right? Because it might be some self-reflection that you need to do.
Right.
You might need to go talk to somebody. Hey, friends, the people that are close to you. Hey, I'm noticing this about I desire to be married, but it seems like I keep getting into these not so good relationships.
That part.
Right. So like one bad relationship, okay, two, three. Who becomes the common denominator in these continued toxic relationships? And you
Listen.
know what I'm saying? A trend in as a therapist, everybody's coming and saying, my ex is a narcissist. My ex is a narcissist. The last four people I talked to have been narcissists. And I'm like, you know, it's possible.
are they really narcissists, or are you just not listening?
You are. So
Girl,
I mean, it's not that many narcissists in the world, right?
like diagnosed, like when I say diagnosed, I mean like by the book, because it's a real condition, y'all. I
Right.
just want everybody to know that. It's
Yes, it
real.
is a real diagnosis, right? But even if, right, let's say your four exes weren't all narcissists. Let's say they were all actually diagnosed. Then,
Uh-huh.
sis, I need you to take a moment and reflect on why you are attracted to the narcissist. Why do we keep this cycle going? Because at some point, you're going to have
Yeah.
to take accountability. That's the
Listen,
piece we don't always like to do.
let's talk about accountability. Let's put a pin right there, because when we start, and I know we're talking about a bunch of different topics, so I want you to kind
Mhm.
of go with us, but there will be an opportunity, guys, just a little plug, for you to come with us for the next 3 weeks after this. Yes, for us to dive in a little bit more deeper on specific type of topics and guide you through some of your questions and thoughts. So that's just a little plug. So stay
Yeah.
tuned for more information on that. Um, but the accountability piece, I know for me, I had to really come to some hard truths about me and my what I was accepting, what I was allowing, what I was doing. I had to come to grips with, maybe I'm a little bit desperate, or maybe I'm
Mm.
just so love blind that I'm not seeing that this person is manipulating me, lying to me, keeping me at bay for their comfortability. You know what I'm saying? Like using me. I'm allowing this to happen. And I mean, they're so nice about it. They not hitting me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They still celebrate my birthday. They still buy me a Christmas present. They still take me out on a date every now and again. They still buy me stuff. They might give me a little money. They might do all the things that a quote unquote partner would do, like a boyfriend or whatever would do. But this person is lying to me, like, in my face.
Yeah.
This person is using me for their own good. They're not concerned about me and my feelings.
Yeah.
I have to be accountable for how I allow somebody to treat me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
to be accountable to that, because nobody's going to do what I don't allow. Now, this is not just to put all the blame on the person and say they're a terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
I have to come to the realization and accountability that maybe my esteem is a little bit low.
That's good. That's good. And y'all, if that's where you are right now, it's okay.
It's okay.
It is okay. There are some things that you probably need to work on in you.
Hmm.
And again, that's okay. Get some help. It's all right to go to therapy. And that's me as the therapist telling you the therapist even needs therapy.
Listen, and this is me as an up and coming therapist and counselor to tell you, go, 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 go as many times as you need. And sometimes, and what for me, I will say, for me in my life, like, at this point in my life, I don't need a therapist like every week or every month, but there are times that come
Mm-hmm.
where I need assistance to walk me through. Right, my first year of marriage, I was in counseling for the first 6 months. When I realized it was a problem, and I said, ho 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 ho, this not gonna go well if I don't get this straight.
I
This not
need
gonna go
help.
good. I need help. And my husband had already started therapy, like, right before we got married. His own individual therapy, not us like a couple counseling. We did
Mm-hmm.
some of that. We actually communicated fairly well as a couple. We had some work individually that we still needed to do. So he had already done that. I had kind of done it on and off. And I thought I was good, like, but then we got married, baby, and that thing just slapped me in the face. And I was like,
Yeah. So, and let me throw something in here right quick. Research shows that, like, whatever issues you may have, your strengths and your weaknesses are intensified in marriage. So whatever shows up, whatever you're dealing with while dating, is just going to intensify, good, bad, ugly, when you get married. Okay, go ahead.
Ask me how I know y'all, baby. I thought I was a great communicator. My husband looked at me and said, "You are a horrible communicator." I said, "I beg your pardon." Excuse me. What you
Not
mean?
me.
Not me. Not the one who always wants to talk. But he told me, like, "You're not a good communicator." And I was like, "Oh, all right." So I had to sit with that. You know what I mean? And then not only did I have to sit with it, but I had to work with it in counseling. One of the big things that he even messes with me about now is I had to really, because of some of the stuff that I had been through with some of the wordplay and I would say just emotional kind of manipulation type of deal.
Mhm.
Um, I had to really focus on what did he actually say, Kia? Not what you heard. What did he actually say? That was a big thing for me. And
Mhm.
so I worked through that in my first year of marriage. Counseling, you talk about, and I mean, I still got her number right now. If I need something, like, girl, listen, you
Help
know,
me.
help me, because help me.
Yeah.
Um, but she really assisted me in just bettering my communication, better being able to say what I needed, and to function in my new space of a wife. Like, telling me that it's okay. She also gave me permission to say it's okay that you're not completely healed from the past before you got married. That's okay. She was like, but what's not okay is to allow those past hurts and traumas
Yeah.
to infiltrate your current situation. You have
Okay.
to be open enough to express that to your spouse and let them know where you're at, what you're going through, what your needs are. And baby, I'm the hardest thing to articulate is, what do I need?
Oh, and we're expecting him to just know, y'all. His no one's brain just automatically knows what you're thinking, right? We might have some prophetic moments,
Right, right,
but
right,
you can't expect it is unrealistic for you to think that your husband is gonna always know. And like Nakia asked me how I know, because I'm like, well, he should have known that. He should have saw based off of my face. He should have known. No, that's not how it works.
right.
You cannot expect your husband to just pick up on everything that you're feeling. You have to learn how to communicate that. And
Hmm.
so I would even challenge, and we're gonna do some things like this in our 3-week camp, preparation camp.
Hmm.
But I would even challenge you to try to write out what you need. What do you
Yeah.
need in a husband?
Hmm. Yep.
See, start there, right? What do I need? And that is going to kind of start showing you there may be some things on that list that you think you need that you might not.
That part. And that even uh let's go back just a tad, right? So let's go back to the before marriage,
Yes.
right? So before you get married, like, we're talking about all the things that you gonna see probably right when you get in it, right? Because we want to make sure that you understand that how serious marriage is, how beautiful it can be, but also how much work it does require.
A lot.
So when you talk about why am I not married, right? Take away the wedding. Don't even think about the wedding. Don't think about the wedding. Don't think about the lovey-dovey. Don't think it about, taking these cute pictures with your boo. Don't think about any of that. Think about the relationship itself, like the foundation of it.
Mhm.
Like, do you have the wherewithal and the tools to even build a foundation and then to keep building on top of that? Like,
Come
do
on.
you have that? Let's
Come
talk
on.
about that. Because if you don't have that, there's no way that you will be able to survive being married.
Yes. And so then you also got I know it's some sisters out there that are like, "Oh, I want to maybe marry a pastor. I want to marry someone in ministry." Here is the thing, right? Are
Hmm.
you prepared for the warfare that's going to come for that? Oh, me and my husband, we're gonna be a power couple. We're gonna run the conferences. He gonna run the church. And our sis, you know how to fight spiritually?
But you know what? Not only that, I don't want to read this comment real quick. Uh, they say we have to go into marriage with the understanding that our spouse will push all of our buttons to help us grow into a greater relationship with Christ, to become a better person in general. We have to feel safe with our partner to the degree that we are comfortable with his or her triggering our most vulnerable faults. Baby,
Ooh.
that's that. Now
Thank you,
that's the
Alessandra.
that's a
The
comment.
truth.
That's a
You
comment.
have to be okay with the triggers. And that is the hard part. Y'all, our spouse, this is something Daniel and I figured out later. When I tell you they are a mirror, honey, if you're not ready to see yourself, marriage is not where you even don't even go.
And let me tell you, and this is something that I'm currently working on as a wife of, I'll be a wife of 4 years in October. That, and yes, we're new to this, but I think when you get married after a certain age, it's like you have the marriage, but then you also have like the maturity piece because of,
Yeah.
you've lived a little bit. So, they kind of balance each other out in most cases. If especially if you spirit led, like you
Mhm.
get to be spirit led. But my husband is my biggest mirror. Like, I could be so easily offended. Don't tell him I said that. Um, but not to the point where, like, because we don't argue, we don't, like, go back and forth. But I could, my husband has a very sharp tongue. He doesn't mean to go around hurting people. That's not what he does. But he's witty, like he's quick. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get in a joking battle with this guy because he's going to get you. Okay, he's going to get you. But sometimes something will be said and he doesn't mean it. Like it's literally like it's a joke. It's not, and
Mhm.
he's very quick. Like if it's something that really bothers me and I'm like, bro, like, no, he'll like, all right, my bad. Like he won't do it again. It's cool. But sometimes he'll say something, and because maybe I got something else going on, or it triggered another thing, it triggered an unhealed place. And I know
Mhm.
my husband's not out to hurt me. He's a jokester. That's what he does. He's comical. And he doesn't joke me or nothing like that. But that it's the banter, right? And I know that my heart knows, my mind knows that he's not out to hurt me. But
Mhm.
that unhealed space gets triggered, and that's the mirror that we're talking about.
Yes.
But
And you need to be prepared for that.
be prepared for it, but also feeling safe enough to know that you have a partner that you can share that with and everybody can adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yep.
I said something the other day to my husband. I think we were doing Bible study. I don't know what we were doing. No, we were having a meeting about something, a marriage thing that we getting ready to do in November. And I said, my husband may not always agree with me, but he knows how to accommodate me.
Awesome.
And I have to be able to do
Beautiful.
the same thing.
Mhm.
And these are things that you discover if you're ready to do these things before. Hopefully, you can get this stuff
Yes.
before.
Before. Please do it before. You
You
don't
know,
have to be perfect, right? We're not expecting perfection. We're not
right?
saying, oh, wait until you're perfect to get married. No, but there are definitely some things that can help you navigate, especially that first year. That first year can be rough, y'all,
Yeah, yeah,
if you do some preparation ahead of time. So
absolutely.
that's what we're trying to tell you to do. Not perfect, but be willing. That I say that all the time. God isn't expecting you to be perfect, but he needs you to be willing. And so
Yeah.
willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to compromise.
The compromise is the big thing. And sometimes, ladies, and I know some fellas might chime in here too, but this is really for the ladies, right? Because we the ones we want to know why we not married. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Why ain't nobody chose me yet? I'm choosable. But I think the thing about it is we have to understand, like, our expectations sometimes.
Unrealistic.
You,
Unrealistic. And
you
we don't even know they unrealistic.
You don't even know. Like, you think this man, like, it's first of all, it's 2024. Roles and responsibilities and all kind of things
Yes.
they've just changed with the times.
Hmm.
Like, a lot of times in a household, both people are going to need to work in
The
2024.
reality of it.
That is the reality. Even six figures is not like a bag anymore. It just isn't. the economy that we live in, and especially if you want to live a comfortable life, travel a little bit, eat out from time to time,
Yep.
like pay your bills, like both people are going to have to work. And so you having this expectation. Now, some people got, they got it like that where they can be at home and that's what
Absolutely.
their house structure works. And that's cool.
Great for them.
Great for them. Now, even if I had the opportunity, honestly, like I can't just sit at home and do
Me
nothing.
either.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Gotta
I
do
gotta
something.
but and when I say nothing, I mean like I'm not saying like stay at home moms and wives, like the good ones, like y'all work hard.
Yes, that
Like
is the whole job.
listen,
And
that
if your husband can't afford to do that, then
by
great.
all means, wonderful.
Awesome.
However, don't go in there thinking I'm gonna get married and I'm gonna chill.
Chill. Right. I'm
Because
gonna have
it's
several
not,
seats.
sis, it's not happening. It's not happening
Going to
unless
have
he is a multimillionaire and that's what y'all discuss. Like, it's not happening. Like, everybody got to work, and that should be okay. Like, if you've already been working and taking care of yourself, like being able to contribute to a household, like that should be realistic, like expectation. Like, you can't think that you just gonna get married and all your financial problems are gonna go away, all your
Mhm.
emotional issues are going to be resolved, all your sexual proclivities will be resolved. Like, it's not going to work. You have to do the work and be intentional about your expectations, your needs, and all of that before you say I do.
Yes, because I totally had the expectation of like all of the household tasks being split. Like, oh, I won't have to do all this when I get married. I got
Yeah.
somebody to help. We
Uh-huh.
are gonna
Uh-huh.
split. That's something that you need to talk about ahead of time
Yeah.
because your expectation might be the opposite of his expectation. And if nobody talked about that when we get into the marriage, it's like, wait, this wasn't what I was expecting, and
Right.
that just can create unnecessary conflicts where you could have had this conversation ahead of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those are the things that we want to touch on in the, why am I not married? Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
really
We're
talking
gonna
to,
dig deep.
yeah, we want to dig deep on, okay, what are your expectations? Like, how do you even define marriage? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Let's help you. Not just, marriage is a covenant, that kind of thing, but like, what do you think about when you think about marriage? Because those are good things. Because I will tell you, before getting married, I had this idea. Oh, big thing. And when I say idea, I over romanticized marriage.
That's a lot of us.
Okay. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have romance in your relationship, because that's important,
It
right?
is.
I'm not saying that, you shouldn't be wooed or try to woo your spouse, show them you love them and all that, all the good, good, good. But you cannot over romanticize marriage. It's not going to be peaches and roses every day. Like, you may not be having sex every day. Like, you may not be going out. You may have to be more intentional about your date nights, especially when you start adding children or
Yeah.
responsibilities. Like, my husband told me I was working so hard on school and all these kind of other things. Like, he always gets on me about putting down my electronics. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
close the laptop. No, we're not taking it on vacation. Like, leave the iPad. The only thing you could take is your phone. That's it. Like, why are you looking at your phone at dinner? Like, you know, it's these kind of things that you may face in your marriage, and you cannot over romanticize and think that, you know, like they show on TV, like, you just gonna have hot, steamy sex, and you know what I'm saying? He gonna come and scoop you up and kiss you down and buy you all that. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't work like that. There are moments. My husband is super romantic and he's extremely thoughtful. I am not that great at that. I'm working better. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for Kia. Y'all pray for Kia, because I'm working to be a better wife every day. But my husband is really amazing at being very thoughtful and romantic and all the things. Um But he did a lot of that when we were dating, right? And I just thought that that would just be like all the time being married.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, of course, he was trying to bag me. You know what I'm saying? He had to get me, you know? And not saying that those things stop, but it does shift as your relationship evolves. And you have to be
It
okay
does.
with that. And so you have to go in there with a realistic idea of what marriage could look like for you.
Yes. Yes. That's extremely true. And like we said in the beginning, we know that we are jumping on topics because we're trying to hit a lot of different pieces.
Mhm.
When you get into this boot camp, it will be more structured and we're going to dig even deeper
Mhm.
into, like, let's talk about some practical tools and some ways to address this. Now,
Yeah.
here's another thing I want to bring up. Some of us that are not us because I'm married, but some of the women that are like, why am I not married? I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own level of peace, right?
Mm.
Do you create an atmosphere for yourself that's peaceful, that people want to be around you, that people feel loved when they're around you? Because if not, sis, that's a problem. Because if you're not your own peace, you can't possibly be his peace.
I'm just going to sip my tea.
I'm going to just sit that there for a second. If you're not your own peace, you can't possibly be his peace.
Mm. That was good, Doc.
Thank you. That was God. That was like,
That was
hey,
good because sometimes we go into these our idea of marriage and relationships like excuse me, we're expecting somebody to do something that we don't know how to do for ourselves. We're
sure.
not happy, we're not happy being by ourselves. We're not happy with us. How can we expect somebody else to come in and
Yeah.
to be happy with us and to make us
Yeah.
happy? That was one thing that I had to learn. I had to like, I'm still not the kind of, I'm not a solo traveler. That's not me. But I will spend time with myself, meaning, you know, I like to go to like things I like to do by myself is go to Target and just do me, right?
Walk the aisles.
Walk the aisles, you know, just see what's new at the Target. You know what I mean? I like to go to coffee shops alone. I'll do
Mhm.
that a lot. Grab my coffee. I might have my laptop. I might have my phone. Every now and again, I might have a book. Those are things that I like to do. And I had to come to the realization that it was okay to spend time with me.
Yeah, you need it. That was actually one of my kind of deal breakers. I
Mm,
let my husband know while we were dating, like, hey, are you gonna be okay with me like doing vacations by myself, having my me time? Now I
mhm,
will travel by myself. To me, it's relaxing. I
mhm.
can do a whole like even staycation,
Uh-huh.
right? And I
That's
can
my
just be by
husband.
myself and I'm
Okay.
okay. I
Mm,
love it. But it took a while for him to understand that concept, that piece of me, like, wait, why would you not want to be with me? And it wasn't that I didn't want to be with him. It was just that I needed some time on my own. I knew myself well enough to know that I needed that.
yeah.
So
And
we
you know
had to
what's
figure
good?
out how to do it in marriage.
And that's good because I think I told you that my husband's like that. And girl, the first time, and this is all within the first year, y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. The first, he wanted to do a staycation. Now he was doing this stuff before. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but we weren't living together. So like, I didn't get married to be by myself. What you need a vacation for? We just got here talking about you need a vacation by yourself, girl. When I tell you, I cried. He
Oh,
left. He left for like 2 days, but I cried because I took it so personal. And it was because I hadn't fully understood or learned the concept of enjoying myself
yeah.
outside of maybe friends or something. Like I lived alone and all that kind of stuff for many years, but it was just this thing when, especially when it came to relationships, a romantic relationship. I had this idea that if he wants to be away from me, then he's doing something he ain't supposed to be doing. But see,
Yeah.
that was being triggered by past,
Yeah.
right? And now, baby, now I be like, oh, you need a vacation.
Right. I'm gonna send you on your
Take
vacation.
take a couple of days, and now, like even when he's out on his little thing, he'll call me, check in. Sometimes we still sit on the phone, like we write in each other's face. It's really cute. But I encourage him to do, like, he's coming up on one, like he needs one probably before he goes back to school, because him and I have been traveling and things of that nature together. He's just been people, and I'm pretty sure he's peopled out.
Yeah.
And so, because now that I've grown to understand him, I'm okay. I'm like, okay, this is what he needs, and I need him to do what he needs so he can do what we need.
Yes. And you're helping him in
Mhm,
creating peace. You're
mhm,
meeting him like where he is and understanding his personality so
mhm.
that you give him peace, not
Yes.
like overcrowding
I
him and
try.
like,
I try not to. I try not, right? Because I know people like y'all can't deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're in the business of serving people all the time. And I think, like, he's a pastor, but he's also an educator, and things. So you're always serving someone, and sometimes you just need that space to, like, just, I don't want to talk to nobody. Don't nobody call me. My phone is on D&D. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Like, my husband will do that quick. Like, when he go on his vacation, he'll be like, "Hey, I'm about to put my phone on D&D because I'm gonna get some rest." Da 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 da. Like, I'll call you when I wake up, or I'll text you. That kind of thing. We have a thing that works for us, and also understanding that when I talked about romanticizing marriage, you have to be prepared to do work that's going to be create a culture for you and your spouse that works for y'all. You can't
Right.
compare. You can't think that when I get married, my marriage gonna be like such and such.
No, no, no. Comparison kills. You can't do it. Yeah.
You
Oh
can't.
goodness. Okay, I want to touch on this one for the
Okay.
ladies that are like got the successful career. I got the education. I went to school for all these years, got all these degrees.
Uh-huh.
Why am I still not married? Right? I want you to start thinking about um so the woman with the bag, the boss, right?
Mhm.
I want you to think about how hard you had to fight to get to where you were. And this is something that I've had to sit back and reflect on, right?
Mhm.
So in the business world, I'm out here like fighting daily. I'm a woman, I'm a black woman. I got to put in some effort to get to where I am, right? Success has I literally had to fight, right?
Uh-huh.
That you can't take that fight into your marriage.
Mm.
You're
That's
going to have to figure out how to separate some of that, right? Because as an entrepreneur, a person that's running business and ministry, yes, I'm the boss in those businesses. Yes, I make the final decision in those businesses, but guess what? At home, I don't. So I had to. I'm coming in like this, right? Because that's what I've been doing. That's how I survived. That's how I made it this far. But when I'm preparing for marriage in that relationship with my husband in our house, I had to figure out how to let this down. You can't bring the punches and the jabs that you used, and they worked, right? The punches and the jab, they worked to get your business where you needed it to be. It worked to get you through school. It worked to fight those microaggressions or whatever you may have been experiencing. But you cannot bring that home to your husband.
girl. Now that's a whole session by itself.
Yeah, and we're gonna dive deeper into that. That's what I'm telling y'all. Y'all getting these little snippets. Y'all
Yeah.
might want to get in here for these next 3 weeks because we are going deeper. And I was that person. I'm like, look, I color purple all my life. I had to fight. I fought. I fought to get here, right? And
Yeah.
so you're expecting, and my husband and I have had a conversation about this too. You men often want like the successful woman. I like the self-motivated woman, but you're not thinking about the fact that sometimes in that career building or ladder climbing,
Mhm.
society will say that you lost your femininity.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. You've lost your femininity. And
Uh-huh.
so for me, I had to sit back and kind of reflect, well, like, did I lose some of my feminine aspects.
Mhm.
And for me, it was a yes. There were pieces of me that were hard. And I
Mm.
didn't even realize it. That had become the norm. At one point, I was a single mother.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm fighting for me and my baby. I'm trying to figure this out. And
Yeah.
so to have a man come in, you have to be ready to let that down. And that's not always easy. And I'll give more tips in the 3 weeks. I'll talk about ways to
Yeah.
start letting your guard down, let
Yeah.
your husband in. He's the decision maker, he is the head of the household. And so, as a boss, how do you transition into that? And as a
That's so
single
good.
mom, how do you, because you have to let go of that control. You've been running it all. But if
Yeah.
you don't let it down, your husband has no space. The person that you're going to marry has no space to come in and take on his role if you don't let him.
Man, oh man. Baby.
Yeah.
That's a way to hit us hard. Because that is such a real thing. Like the word submission, um, to me is such a beautiful word now. I didn't understand the
Yeah.
concept at first, and I don't think I really gave my husband really a hard time, just because even during our dating process, like I understood who he was. You know what I mean? And he wasn't a person who um, would try to rule like with an iron fist, like I said, da da da. But I also felt like if he really felt strongly about something to put his foot down and be like, no, then there had to be a good reason. And
Yes.
I had to trust that. And
Yes.
so when I understood that, he had proven, and this, your partner, this should be stuff that you should be seeing before you get to the altar. Amen. Um,
Yes.
but, he had proven so far that he was not out to harm me. He was out to look out for my best interests. And I knew that he is, and at the time was a praying man. So I knew that he was really relying on Holy Spirit to lead him and guide him on how to love me. I've seen my husband literally die to self to love me. And so these are things you got to see before you even get to the altar, right?
Mhm.
It's not so much about the money or the status or the whatever. Like, yes, can he provide, or should he be able to provide? Absolutely. Does he work? Should he work? Yes, absolutely. Like, but it's the character for me. It's the
That's
can I rely on you? Right? It's the,
mhm.
are you looking out for me? It's, and those things, if you are a woman that's just going to keep fighting him on every end,
You are, again, you're not being his piece
not being his piece. And
at all.
that could be why you're not married.
That could
Because
be it.
some of you can think about a relationship where you're like, man, that's the one that got away because you fought him on everything. You fought him on everything. And there was even a point where my husband had said something to me. And this was right before, a couple months before he asked me to marry him. I mean, unbeknownst to me, I ain't know it was coming. But there's like this fine line, right? Where you want to hear your partner and take into account what they're saying, and even maybe adjust to their suggestion. But there's this other side of you, like if I ain't got no ring yet, you can't tell me what to do.
Boom.
You know what I'm
I did
saying?
the same thing. Like, we're not married yet.
One thing he had expressed to me, and I was just like, okay, I hear you. Like, I take it into consideration. I was like, but for me, in order to protect myself and my peace, I understood that I had a tendency before to move in ways like I had a ring, like I had security there. And so I had to be like, no, I can't really be, I hear you, and I'm not even gonna disagree with you, but I can't really move on your suggestion because you ain't got a ring. Well, I ain't got a ring yet. But baby, when I got the ring, it was just kind of like, okay, whatever, whatever. No, but it really is understanding that he from then has always had my best interest at heart, and so I had to put and I still continue to try to put my independence down, that is still like it's a layer thing. I've always taken care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've always paid my own bills. I've always, whether I did it right or wrong, I've always been able to take care of me. I went into a season where things shifted, and I had to be like, okay, I have to let him like take care of the bills 100% solely. You know what I'm saying? I gotta relinquish and
Release
let
that control.
him take care of me. Like like I really gotta be like, give it to him and let him do it. Right. And this was in my season of him letting me finish school without no issues, with no distractions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I'm not used to this. Um,
That, that's hard. That part.
it's hard, but he's proven like he's doing everything that he can to make sure that I'm good in all the seasons that I might face. And so, but if I was fighting him all the time,
Yeah.
that,
Nobody
that,
wants a
that-
bickering wife.
nobody,
We gonna
because
go.
the Bible talks really, really keen about a bickering wife. When I read it, I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Ooh, the word is shady. We're gonna
Right.
bring that up. We're
It
gonna
was
bring
a
that
little
up.
shade there. It was.
But no, nobody wants a big grand wife. Like I'd rather like sit on pins
Yeah.
than to
Yeah.
sit here and listen to this woman bicker. You know what I'm saying? I'd
Oh
rather
my goodness.
stick a pole in my eye.
And even as women, think about it. Think about like, do we want friends around us that's all negative and always big and always starting arguments? No,
No.
nobody wants to really be around a bickering person. So why would someone marry the bickering person?
Ooh,
No, I'm
child.
not signing up for that. I'm not. So
Ooh,
yeah,
child.
y'all, like we've been saying this whole time, we're touching on a lot of different topics here. But I promise you, if you get into this 3-week course, we
Yes.
are going to get you some structure. We are going to get you some activities. We're going to give you some practical tools. We are pulling in books. We're pulling in the word of God. We are pulling in some research. And one of the books that I used during my PhD program was this. I don't know if y'all can see why marriages succeed and fail by Gottman, someone that's really renowned and well known when it comes to marriage and family. And so I'm gonna give one of these to somebody. The first person to sign up, right? I'm sending you this book. So I want y'all to we about to come with some deals for you because we want to see you in the 3-week boot camp. We want
Yes.
to see you grow. We want to see you prepared.
Yes.
And you ready to share that yet, Nakia? Or I
Yeah, I'm gonna.
got one more thing though
Oh,
that
what
I
you got? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I know we going over the hour, but so look, I know a lot of people are going to say, why am I not married? So a very common reason that people give off for that is not enough men. So I want to touch on it real quick. Now again, we'll go deeper in the 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
But if that's what you're thinking, right? I'm gonna need you to change your mindset just a little bit. Now there's a reality there, right? And especially in certain areas, you look at the demographics and there's a reality there. There are less men in this area. But here's the thing, when you have a kingdom mindset, that's why we need you in this class. We might have to work on your kingdom mindset. When you have a kingdom mindset, I lack nothing.
Nothing.
I don't care if it's only 10,000 men here and it's 50,000 with my kingdom mindset. One of them for me. All I need is one.
Period.
We went through a whole pandemic, right? The world said that things were like just going south. People losing houses and my kingdom mindset. Me and my husband, but we're buying houses during a pandemic. We're paying off cars during a pandemic. That doesn't apply to me. what's
Period.
going on? Oh, that doesn't apply to me. And so we're gonna have a balance here, right? We understand the reality of it, but also I wanna help shift your mindset into a kingdom mindset and knowing that there's no lack in the kingdom.
No lack. And also it's really about shifting your expectation, because your husband might not look or come from the background or be the individual that you conjured up in your mind. Yes, you have your own boundaries, but definitely be led by Holy Spirit,
Yes.
because the Lord will lead you. And not saying, the Lord will, I will say the Lord will endorse. He may not give you a full blown out yes or no. Because sometimes some
Yeah,
things
I
he
did
won't
get
leave up to
that.
us. It's free will, right? But he will impress upon us what is right for us and what is not right for us. And your husband might not be who you thought he was going to be. There might be some things about him that you like.
Yes. And so we talked about this, Nikki. I do want to bring this in
Uh-huh,
because
uh-huh.
the physical piece of it. So if you going in the room, let's say all the single men, is 100 single men in the room, and you done panned the room, and you like, oh nope, none of those are for me. Guess what, sis? You might be missing out
You might be missing
because he
out.
might not look anything like what you have conjured up in your head,
Uh-huh.
and you're going to have to be open to that. So my husband typically not someone that I would have said, "Oh, let me go," talk to him. But once we started dating, oh wait, this could work.
Yep.
But
Same.
physically, it was like, and not my husband. I'm attracted to my husband. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just not the typical. It wasn't typically what I would have gone for.
Yeah. Yep.
And I
Same.
had to think about it, like, hold on, but what I typically been going for, that hasn't been working.
Same. Girl,
It
let me
hasn't
tell you
been.
something. You hit the nail on the head, because what I would typically go for, because I'm very much so, my attraction is kind of interesting. Like it's like a whole package type of deal. Like, of course, like I gotta find something about you, like, oh, they cute, they handsome, like aesthetically. But it's like a whole look. It's like mind, body a little bit, I could be flexible with the body, but it's
Mhm.
like your mind, like your intellect, and then like it's like a swag. I think that there's like a
Mhm.
thing, a personality, that somebody got to have about them. And my husband is very chill with his dress. Like he's very much so, just give me some Crocs and some sweatpants and a hoodie and I'm good. Like he's not super fashionable. Like when he want to put it on, he'll put it on. But for the most part, he likes to dress very comfortably. And so for me, like I was into the dude that, sneakers fresh, smell good, haircut, you know, you know, just not bad boy, but kind of with a little edge to him.
Uh-huh.
And the man of God, he do have a little edge. I learned later. At first I was like, and but my husband would attracted me to him. It wasn't even necessarily his look, because he got a bald head. I never dated a bald headed man. You know what I'm saying? But baby, he's got the best bald head for me.
And y'all better be open to the bald heads.
Be
So
open.
that you better be open. And
Be
it's
open.
not just bald heads, but what we're telling you is to go in with an open heart. The
Open
picture
heart.
that's in your mind, we're gonna help you. You get in this 3 weeks so we can help you erase it. And we say, Lord, you send what I need.
Send what I
Because
need.
sometimes we don't even know what we need.
Yeah. Yep.
Keep letting that picture keep you right on from your husband, sis.
Keep you
Don't
right
do
on.
it.
Keep you right on. Because now I think my husband is the finest thing. Like he walk in the room and I just be like, he's here. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's just that's how it should be. But if I would have just, like you said, if it was in a lineup, I wouldn't have picked him out.
Right.
He'd probably say the same thing about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to dispel and get away from, our ideas. We just got to be open. If you like dark skinned men, he might be light skinned for
He
you, girl.
might be,
Just be
sis.
open. If you like, a man with a little chunk on him, he really might be slim. You just gotta be open. And also understand, one of my good girlfriends, she just recently got married. Let me tell you something. How her husband, when I first met him a few years ago, how the man he is today is not who he was then. And it was just like he's done a complete 180. Because I tell you, if you don't like the way your man dress or do whatever, like these things can be changed, they can be
Some of them
adjusted.
definitely can.
Some of
Mhm.
them can be adjusted. Like if he love you, he's open. Just like if you love him, you'd be open to doing things that he likes to see. So it's like, don't be worried about like the surface.
Yes, don't be vain in your picking.
Come on, come on, be
Because
intentional.
you're gonna have everything that you've been attracted to in the past, right? You got the swag, you got okay, he looks the part that I want, but he's not built for long-term marriage. He gonna infidelity, right? Versus the person that may not look exactly like what you're used to, but
Mhm.
is built for long-term marriage. He's ready to commit. He's ready to love you. He is committed to not talking to other women, right? So which one are what are you gonna choose? Because
Absolutely.
that sometimes is just the problem. We're choosing the toxic relationships. Like
Listen,
you got to do something different to get something different, and
listen.
that's not gonna always be comfortable.
It sure ain't. And guess what? But we gonna help you get
Mhm.
uncomfortable, get comfortably uncomfortable. That's what we gonna help
Yes.
you do. So man, we went a little bit over time, but it was a good conversation.
Yes. Yes.
So this personality, this mashup that you see is what you're going to get for the next 3 weeks. Our plan is to start next Thursday, I believe it is.
Hmm.
Our first session. So down below, you will see the information where you can sign up today, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you go to the link, which is marriageprep.eventbrite.com, what you will be able to see is a mock-up of what you will see over the next few weeks, the price, and you will get $100 off. $100 off. Okay.
Yes.
And those are for the first few folks that sign up. So the spaces are limited, y'all. This is not going to be like a huge class.
Yeah.
So spaces are limited. We'd love to do this again, maybe. So definitely sign up today. Y'all asked, so we created something and we want you guys to be a part of it. This is going to require some work on your end. The payment is the least of your worries. Let me tell you that. It's the other work. I need you to be
Yeah.
prepared, not just financially, but be prepared spiritually, mentally, and emotionally to get started with the work. And the cool thing is that as we go through this class, can I say it now? If they wanted the little 101 with
Yeah,
Dr.
sure.
There's going to be an opportunity for you to continue your one-on-one work with her. So there'll be some updates with that coming as well. So listen, there is space for you. We want you ladies to be a part of this marriage prep course. We have a lot of information that we want to share with you. You're going to get the real us as you see today. You're going to get personality. You're going to get the word. You're going to get practicality. You're going to get tangible information that can help you to get ready for marriage. Okay. And so we love for you guys to be a part. So make sure, again, if you're watching the replay, just comment replay, and then go and sign up today at marriageprep.eventbrite.com, and get your spot.
Yes, and don't forget this book for the first person that signs up using that discount code. So at 7 p.m., first person, y'all might want to have the website pulled up, have your tab open at
Yeah.
7 o'clock. The first person that comes through I'm going to get this book to you. And this has some amazing information in it too. So
Listen, I'm gonna have to get that book myself.
it's good. It's good.
Really?
I started reading it when I was in my program, and I said, "Is this man at my house?"
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that one. I'm gonna have to
You
get that
know.
one.
Yeah. So yeah, it will definitely give you some also practical tips on ways to prepare as well. So, and we'll be pulling some from that book. I'll be talking a little bit more about it in the 3 weeks. Y'all, invest in yourself.
Yeah,
Invest in yourself. It is
that's
worth
exactly
the
what it is.
investment. This is a minor investment financially, in comparison to what we are about to pour into you.
And honestly, guys, man, I wish that there was something like this that was offered that I knew. I'm not saying that it didn't exist, but it wasn't in my realm of community, of something like this before getting married, or even when I thought like, hey, I'm ready to get married. Maybe I didn't have a partner then. You could be ready and not have your partner there yet. That's okay. I wish I would have had something like this to dive in with community of like-minded people to come together for something like this. I just didn't have it. I just
Yeah.
didn't have it. You know, when you talk about women mentors, or women that pour in like this, I didn't have it. And I am excited to just be a part to change the trajectory of someone else. My sister, she said, this is so needed. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. Listen, we want you guys to be a part. Invest in yourself because it's going to be good. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you are desiring marriage, if you're a divorcee and you're desiring, you know, marriage again, you know what I'm like, this is for you. So if you've never been married, you're divorced and ready for marriage again, this is definitely something for you, because work is to be done, and we want you guys to be successful, not just as wives, but as women, as people. And this is going to help you get there.
Yes. And so the only, if you're single, the only people that this is not for is for the person that's like, I don't want to be married. And that's
Period.
okay.
And
That's okay. Right.
that's fine too. And you know what? That's another thing. We're going to touch on that in the next class, because you got, you know, when you talk about your desires, you got to be real with yourself about
Yeah.
what you desire and why.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because the word says that God will give us the desires of our heart, right? And
Yep.
so, sis, Nakia is saying, like, get into this class, you won't regret it. And I'm saying the same thing. And you know who else is gonna thank you later? Your husband. Your
Yes, he
future
is.
husband, he
Come
is
on.
going to say thank you for coming to me as this whole woman prepared and ready for this kingdom marriage.
Yep.
And y'all, we're gonna be praying for you too. Like, let's touch and agree. Because
Absolutely.
let's get these kingdom marriages going. We got work to do.
Period.
Yes.
Period. All right. So, y'all, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But remember to go ahead and sign up today, marriageprep.eventbrite.com, starting at 7 p.m. tonight, which you'll get the discount for the first few that sign up to get $100 off of the course. And you'll get everything that's included just for $100 cheaper.
Yeah.
Believe me, you're going to want to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and that's all I got. Did you have any last words, Dr. LaShonda?
Nope. I hope to see some of y'all soon. And even if not, I pray that this right here got you some of the information that can still help you on your journey towards marriage. Because like I said, God will give you the desires of your heart. So hopefully it was some tips here that you can use. But if you want more, we got more for you.
All right, y'all. We love you guys. Thank you so much for spending your lunch break and afternoon with us. We hope to see you soon. Peace.